I'm just gonna get this over with. I cannot stand the coronavirus since I've been at home, not be able to get a job and make money. And before any of you ask, I did work at a job at least 3 or 4 times when it comes to making money, and they were mostly temporarily. And at this point, the fact that the coronavirus is still gonna keep going, and my parents are trying their hardest to protect me as the best of their efforts, I really need to take matters into my own hands. When I started making this channel, I really wanted to make money off of the internet. Not from YouTube, but mostly from the internet. It's really obvious that it's difficult to make money off of the internet well. You do multiple things that don't involve reviewing material along with completely doing rants on material that you're accustomed to. So I decided to make a Patreon account. Well, it's literally the closest of all websites that I can do when it comes to making money off of something. Yeah, I know this is gonna be a bit complicated for me to actually make this work when it comes to me making a few extra money when it comes to the videos I make, but I need to be real here. I've completely had this in mind since I've been making videos and getting multiple subscribers over the last 4 years. And as of now, I'm getting close to 2,000 subscribers. And even if you're gonna say that it's still not enough in order to get money off of Patreon, well, for me personally, I really need to actually change up my schedules for a bit. I know I did say that in my 2021 plans that I'm gonna be doing multiple reviews on other material, but at the same time, those changes can still be changed when it comes to what people requested me to do a review off of something, and the fact that Patreon actually deserves better on what I do for making videos. Let's just be real here that I only watched a few videos when it comes to Patreon about how to start off with Patreon, and the fact that it actually can give me an understanding of how to make Patreon work when it comes to starting off fresh. Let's just say that the videos I've seen involving people talking about how Patreon works is something I need to get accustomed to, because let's just be real, Patreon has to be a really difficult place for me to actually understand how it works. And in order to actually make my Patreon account work on getting money off of there, is the fact that I have to actually take my reviews seriously. I'm gonna point this out right now that not all my videos are gonna be mostly for Patreon. It's just mainly my reviews and major projects when it comes to the ideas I have in mind. Granted, some of those ideas don't end up working out well, but at the same time, I need to take myself seriously whenever I completely do these types of videos. And those types of videos are mainly the ones that I consider important. I've seen a few people on Patreon that did different types of getting money when it comes to getting the revenue from those supporters over the last month, and I gotta say, it's a really difficult task in order to make some of these work out at the end. Granted, people usually want to pick out the cheapest, but at the same time, when it comes to activities like these, I need to actually try to be unique on trying to make different tiers in order to have an easier way to make more money. Because let's just say that with people with many subscribers on YouTube and the fact that they have more Patreons, it's going to be a difficult time for me to actually get a single Patreon for the next 3 or 4 months, since I've already got my schedule set up for the first 3 months of this year. And as you can see, yes, these will be the reviews I'm going to be uploading in January 17th to January 23rd. Yeah, you're going to have to wait a bit longer, but at the same time, I'm trying to make these types of videos a bit special. And I understand that they're not fully edited. I still edit out the pauses and stuff like that and try to make the videos at least watchable for the most part. Now, since I have a Patreon account, here's my membership of what I have in store when it comes to the Patreons that actually help, that can actually support me. Loyal people, $2 per month. I'll feature my Patreon supporter in the descriptions in some of the videos that are important on my channel. Granted, I'm just gonna say right now that these tiers might change when it comes to how I do well when it comes to making these types of videos. So I'm just gonna say that loyal people is basically my subscribers who actually respect me and who actually can find some loyalty by helping me. Now, I am trying my best to actually give you guys some kind of reviews and variety of different ideas for what I have. So, if you guys have a Patreon, then I really hope that you actually support me. Because believe me, it's gonna be a really difficult time to actually get accustomed to most of the rules on Patreon. I made 2 other tiers, acceptance people. If you pay me a little bit more, I'll do one of your requests or reviews on an episode from a show, live action or cartoon. I'll do my best to do my research on the show I haven't talked about yet. This tier is mainly on people who want to do requests on the shows that I haven't reviewed yet, but also haven't seen yet. And I actually need to make this tier a little bit more important, since that people who requested me to do multiple views, I really need to actually make this really work. Now look, I understand that you can say that you can make changes and the fact that there are some different alternatives when it comes to doing these types of videos, but here's the thing. I'm this close into doing my April schedule, and then when we hit to May, I'm probably going to do the schedules that I want to do, but at the same time, I want to replace most of those videos for requested Patreons on what they want to see me review. Granted, I'm down to 0, but with the amount of $4.25, like $4.25, even if it's a bit much, is literally the only way for me to do, because doing requests is something I don't usually do. But if I'm going to actually do requests and actually give people a chance to have me review something that they enjoy the most, I have to actually make it completely worth it. And the final tier is determined people. If you saw my 2021 plans video, you heard me saying about an anthology video where I review multiple episodes. I'm bound by my word in order to make it happen, and try to make the video a lot more unique and also mostly a marathon for people to watch for once in a while. For anyone who requests me to do a top 5 or 10 list or an anthology style of reviews ranging from 3 to 5 episode reviews in one video, I'll try my hardest in determination to make it happen. Although you have to explain in further detail on the type of video you want me to make. Message me if you come up with your ideal. Yeah, and let's just say that I'm really trying everything I can in order to make this work out, and the fact that people are actually expecting me to review multiple episodes from live action and cartoons, and whether I completely had this in mind on doing an anthology video on reviewing multiple episodes in one video, I really need to actually make those types of videos a reality. I mean, the first video I did was the Challenge Showdown video involving Raimundo in the healing side, and that's about it. And people barely didn't put their attention on it because they're not familiar with Challenge Showdown. So I really hope that if people actually come up with a show that they're into so much and it can actually cap my interest, then I will try my best to actually see most of the episodes, give an understanding, and make the videos happen. Believe me, I am gonna make sure that these types of videos can work out when it comes to people doing polls on the video that they desperately want to do, and if I actually agree with them, I will try to make it happen. Seriously, these images is basically determined, like, I'm not gonna be fooling around, I'm being serious. Now, granted, I understand that it's not gonna be a really simple task in order to do some of these, considering that it's gonna be mostly debatable on what I want to do on my Patreon account, but I'm gonna try everything in order to make it work. Because let's just say that the videos I have scheduled for January, despite being only 5 videos before we start Cartoon Week on January 17th to January 23rd, it's gonna be a long way, not to mention the other videos that I've already finished for my future schedules. I've already got Patreon all set up on the banner page so that you can click on it and support me. I get that it's going to take time for me to actually get more Patreon supporters, but considering that those other people who did the best in order to make their content really entertaining while gaining multiple subscribers, I will try everything in order to make my perspective on the cartoons that I review or live action material and somehow make it work in order to make my Patreon account something worthwhile. Because at this point, the only 2 websites that I have grown is YouTube and If I Am Fiction, and those are literally it. Those are literally the 2 websites that I've started out years ago and it made some improvements. I didn't start off my Patreon page because I was too new and the fact that it's going to be difficult for me to actually come up with ideas, but since that we're finally into 2021, I really need to actually have some kind of priorities in order to make these types of videos work. And even though that these videos aren't going to be the best, I might make some slight improvements. Not much, but I'm going to try to actually make these improvements work in order to get some kind of money off of Patreon. Now, before any of you asks, yes, I am still going to get a job in the real world once this coronavirus thing is over with, but considering how long the coronavirus has been since December 2019, it's going to take a long time in order for that to actually disappear. So it's going to take a lot of time for me to actually come up with ideas and also take my offers from other Patreons on what I can do involving my YouTube channel and Patreon account. So that's really all I have to say. I really hope that you actually support me on Patreon, because as much as it's going to be a really difficult time for me to actually do these types of changes, I will try to make the videos for my Patreon supporters. And if you have an account and you're a Patreon supporter, I will try my best to actually make these videos happen. And before you've asked, if you don't have an account on Patreon and yet you still have a user and you still request me to do videos, you don't have to support me completely. I understand that not everyone has Patreons and the fact that they want to see me do reviews for free, but at the same time, I have almost 2,000 subscribers and I actually need to make these subscribers worth getting when it comes to doing these types of ideas. Keep this in mind, I might make more tiers in the future depending on the types of videos. Literally right now, my major focus is on doing reviews and nothing more. So, fanfic readings, YouTuber tributes, or any of that kind of stuff is completely out of the question. So, I will try to actually make my Patreon page a little bit more important, not to mention something that I should have done when I got 1,500 subscribers. I mean, granted, it took me a year to get 400 subscribers, but at the same time, I literally had to try different ideas. If any of you guys can help, if any of you guys are willing to help, you can comment down below and tell me what I can do on Patreon. I know there are other videos that can actually give me an understanding, but at this point, I'm really, this channel has been growing so much over these last almost 5 years, and I really need to make this channel something worth it instead of just doing it for free videos. Granted, I need some equipment and other stuff in order to improve my videos, but that's mostly debatable because I'm not really much of an editor. I'm Lonely Vampire 4 here, and then tomorrow I'm gonna be uploading a YouTube tribute for the first time since September of last year.